This video is about power paradigm and conflict paradigm. Now, some people want personal power and some people want government power, and some people cause conflict because of the power they're trying to get. When the Indians were all killed off, you had white power in the United States. And when World War II was over, the world gave the United States US dollar control of all the international trade, so they got big money. Then we had competition all over the world and wars, which caused conflict and toxic workplaces. And then we have black power. Now, I've experienced a power paradigm by African Americans. August 8, 2023, that's not a year ago, I told a judge from Washington that I had outrageous government conduct, which many of you may not know, but there have been cases about outrageous government conduct, mostly by police action. So what happened on August 8 was that I decided to do what is my MO or my modus operandi. I work 2 or 3 jobs. So I said, let me take my bachelor degree off my resume, get a morning job, and then work online in the afternoon. So they called me in 2 days. I was going all the way north in the county to get away from Boca Raton. And so I went to work all the way north in Palm Beach County. And I was working 7 to 12 o'clock. But looks like they were doing some kind of witch hunt. So somebody up there said, the young African-American male I was working with, he said, you are dirty. And then I went across the street to the 7-Eleven where I'd also applied. And the African-American staff says, you are very dirty, which of course is because of an attack I had in Broward County. Then on the 3rd day, an African-American sheriff comes to my job all the way north in Palm Beach County and says, you are small. Of course, the job is small, but he doesn't know that I work online 1 to 6 o'clock. But of course, they know me from when I worked in government. So then on the 4th day, the African-American housing staff comes all the way up there, acts really friendly, and asks me where I'm working. Anyway, I was terminated on that job. So I said to myself, no, all the things that have happened to me. For 57 years, I've been dealing with Americans, starting with when they came to my parents' house in Jamaica in 1967. But for me, this thing where people are doing this kind of bragging and ridicule on the job, I had to give it an acronym. So I called it the Obama Free Phone Pre-Conquest Bragging, Nigger Gang, Stalking, Bullying. Because the people in government, the sheriff who came all the way up there, he's part of a gang in government. And they are stalking me and they are bullying me out of work. Now, in 2024, the African-American Panera Bread cashier, she said, don't use the Wi-Fi. When I get up in the morning, I have coffee, and then I sit out at Panera Bread and use the Wi-Fi on my phone because I have 2 companies on Wi-Fi, 2 or 3 companies on Wi-Fi on my phones. Because I have 2 phones. One is Wi-Fi only and one is a regular phone. So she said, don't do that. And then she told me, don't sit out here after. And then the African-American security guard at the McDonald's. Now, here's the situation. I was working with cryptocurrency and fintech and also working in Winfield Plaza. And what's really great about it is while working in Winfield Plaza, the owner of Winfield Plaza came and saw me there. And he's so nice. He's a billionaire. He says, you work here? I said, yes. But he's just a nice kind of charitable person. But I don't work there anymore because I got a lot of little AI companies. But my point is that the American security guard I was working in Winfield Plaza for 2 years and going across the street and having coffee at McDonald's because it's only $1.07. And this African American security guard calls the police on me and says, I'm out here. I said, listen, for 2 years, I've been working in Winfield Plaza and come across the street to the McDonald's. But what happened is the African Americans, I guess the word gets around, so I'm a special prey to them, or they have a witch hunt regarding me. So, an African American sheriff, the sheriff, when I worked in government, when I worked for the city of Delray Beach, I was on television about the flooding in Boca Raton. I was working in code enforcement. It's a long time ago. But I feel like the African American sheriff knew who I was because he took my bag, 2 bags that I had, and he said, what do you want out of this? I said, my wallet and my passport. And he gave my bag and purse to the other lady. And then that was what happened when I was up there later. Another sheriff came up there. Both of them was African American. So I think this is actions by African Americans. So this video is really for the court in order to file a case of outrageous government conduct. But I noticed that the white people do things, but they do things very quietly. But the African Americans have to be loud and bragging about it. Anyway, so I went to a movie while I was selling Bitcoin, and I went all the way up to Jupiter. And the African American bus driver made a head signal at a guy, and he followed me and stole my bag. So I know that I've been in this country since I went to Miami-Dade Community College, but just after they bullied me out of government in the city of Delray Beach, everything started to crash and get into this paradigm that I'm experiencing. So that's 4 incidents right there that I mentioned of people using personal and government power against me. And then I also feel like the black power is so noisy and so, I guess they're unstoppable. The white people allow them to behave like that. Anyway, now when I was bullied out of my job with the city of Delray Beach, the girl, her sister was the office manager at my husband's law firm. So she had her opinion about my ex-husband, so I had to clarify that. And I did go to Palm Beach County Court, but I'm always working or going to FAU. I went to FAU 10 years while working. So sometimes I get too busy to deal with the issues, but I can see that something very bad is happening to me. So after they bullied me out of the city of Delray Beach, I did not say to the city manager that the girl is bullying me. I just brought my written evaluation because I've been in government since I was 17. I worked in the summer for the government of Jamaica. And then also when I was 18, I worked in the summer for the government of Jamaica. But the most outstanding work I ever did was for the European Union. And I call the European Union the motherland because they give grants to Jamaica, and they also used to put money in credit unions for small business. And I worked for the European Union, and it was the Europeans, when I took the minutes, they didn't act like they owned the money. They act like public servants. However, after I was bullied out of my job with the city of Delray Beach, I went to Broward County. I said, let me go and work with a Jamaican city, Lauderdale Lakes or Lauderhill. So when I go down there, that African-American police is ahead of me, but he's standing by a dealership, leaves a car in the middle of the road with the driver's door open. So I'm coming up to the car, I'm like, this is really weird. I'm under a lot of stress now because I've been bullied out of a job I was on 5 years, and I have good written evaluation also. So I think if I had gotten into that car, I would have been framed as a car stealer, just like Nicole Simpson was framed as a drug user. But what I want to say is that the African-American state trooper had been ticketing my Honda back to back and terrorizing me. He was on my job. They were in my house. They cut the plumbing. I sent a picture to the FBI. And I'm sure they were in Nicole Simpson's house and put drugs in there. And that's why they spread a reputation about Nicole as doing drugs, because that is the way of devaluing and degrading a woman, saying that she's on drugs, and then kill her. That's what they did to Nicole. Nicole, O.J. Simpson's wife. So, like I said, I wanted to get another job in government in a Jamaican city, Lauderdale Lakes or Lauderhill. Fortunately for me, a commissioner from Lauderdale Lakes, who is Jamaican, came up to Mr. Batmasian's charity. Now, she's also involved in all issues because I make all the YouTube videos for the court, and she's now involved in the issues. But when I did not take the car and get myself framed for car stealing, he sent a girl to do something to me. And the girl put these worms in my bed, and I went to the emergency room, and then I returned to Palm Beach County. Now, the African American state trooper, he had come on my job, and then he was coming around the house that I got. Fortunately for me, some people have been kind to me because somebody spoke to my attorney and got me a house. I was in a house 8 years. I must say that I might not have handled my life very carefully and kept my boundaries, because I had a wonderful home office. I had an office with a whole Office Depot tech stack with desktop printers, everything. And it was so easy to make these kinds of videos. Anyway, this is where we're at now. And I would not be able to tell you that people are violating my human rights and people are doing outrageous government conduct unless all these bad things that happened to me. So the government enters both properties and puts leaks in the kitchen. And the pictures are the FBI. But when they bullied me out of my job with the city of Delray Beach, I have good written evaluations by the woman who was there 37 years. And she doesn't even know that in the summer when I was 17, I worked for the government of Jamaica. And she doesn't know that I worked for the government of Jamaica in the summer when I was 18. And she doesn't know that I worked for the European Union. But she gave me good written evaluations. So technically, I can sue the city of Delray Beach. So the beginning of my experiencing Black Power was this. These Americans came into the airport and came to my parents' house in Harborview. This is how close Harborview is to the airport in Jamaica. As a matter of fact, all the years I lived in my parents' house, we had a lot of people coming from the United States in and out of our house, and family too. But what they did was, a big white male came to the home of a Cuban fighter in Jamaica. My dad is a Cuban fighter who married a Jamaican woman who worked in government. And so, as a Cuban fighter, a mechanic in the Royal Air Force, and a Coca-Cola manager, my dad chased the man away. Then they sent a woman, and I read her Awake magazine, and I thought she was sweet. And then the Jackson 5 came for a concert. Came into the airport. It was in the morning, like 1 o'clock. So I just went from my home here to the airport to see the Jackson 5 come in. They were very tired. They were sitting on a bench looking tired, looking human. Then I went to the concert and they were very phenomenal. The music was wonderful. And my cousin went to the hotel and she went to the Kingdom Hall with them. They were Jehovah's Witnesses at the time. Well, all of this I made this dramatic picture because it changed my life. I studied French for 7 years to go to university in Canada. But because of the Jackson 5, I was with the Jehovah's Witnesses for 30 years because of all of this that happened. Now, one thing I want to establish. Jamaicans are not hunter-gatherers and we are not tribal and nomad. But when I worked for the city of Delray Beach, I discovered that the 9/11 pilots were in the Delray Beach Library and they had a business in Delray Beach. This is a picture from the news. Now, I spent 3 days with some Muslim people in West Delray. And then when I left the house, some Muslim came into town and told me they were having some difficulties with Americans. similar to the things I was experiencing. Now, because these people are tribal and noble, they do not learn the English the way I know it. To be able to express myself on a video, make a call, text somebody, or get an international human rights attorney to take me to court. So, this is step one. Being exposed to the Jackson 5. They have such charisma and talent. So they're really able to get people drawn to the Jehovah's Witness organization. But the Jehovah's Witnesses, although they were integrated, they want the men to be heads of the family, some kind of headship. And I had more education than my ex-husband, but he was a hardworking dude. And then he subjugated me and my children and did not allow us to go to divorce court. So no judge could save my sons. I just went by the Jehovah's Witness Kingdom Hall. There's a Kingdom Hall right by FAU. They're over there quietly, but people do not understand about this organization. They're worth $23 billion in land and buildings all over the world. They have a building program that they have all volunteer, and they also sold a $340 million property to Charles Kushner when Trump was president. So the Jehovah's Witnesses were aligned to the Jackson 5 at first and get donation from the Jackson 5. Then they're aligned with Serena Williams and Venus Williams. Now they're aligned with Donald Trump, Charles Kushner, who are also real estate developers. But they're quietly over there by FAU, and the business school at FAU doesn't know about them, nor any other department in FAU. My ex-husband did not allow visitation, and he subjugated my son so much that my son had to wake up before school and take care of the dogs. And he had to clean the house for the second wife. Then 2001, my son's brake line was cut, and they were killed. The reason why I know their brake line was cut because the person who cut the brake line on the car must be government, because they went into, I worked 3 jobs and bought a condo, and they put a leak in the kitchen. So they cut the brake line and they cut the kitchen plumbing. And Vantage Plumbing came and repaired my plumbing. Then I bought the house, and the government was override the alarm. That's why you know it has to be government. And I did see the African American State Trooper ticketing me back to back. And so I call this overkill. That's a different video. Anyway, here is my son. He's the reason I do these videos. Sitting with his great-grandmother. And his grandmother is right here with her maid, preparing food. My son was very happy. This house is right across the street from the elementary school. If I had known that hunter-gatherers do go into power and conflict paradigms, I would have left that little tyke to sleep in my bed and attend the same elementary school I attended. The principal of that elementary school, her daughter is the first female PhD in engineering, and she has a space program and some other programs. I text her all the time. But her mother was the principal, and she was a single parent, but she was so smart, and her daughter was so smart. So if I'd left that little tyke to sleep in my bed and attend my elementary school, he would be alive today. These are 3 cousins. This one is gifted, and my son, he tested gifted when he was 6 years old at Hagen Ranch Elementary School. Awareness is very important, but people are not aware until they see the pictures, and they know a picture is worth 1,000 words, and the truth and awareness can save lives. Of these 4 girls, 2 of them were born in USA. They were raised in Jamaica without their mothers. This one has 2 master's degrees. She's married to a judge. This one has a PhD. Now, this is another reason I was trying to tell Washington. Washington has resisted twice the International Criminal Court. First time, I don't want to tell the name of the country that wanted to file charges because I really want to protect the country, but I want to stand by them. Then they're saying something about Israel. Washington is standing out again and saying something to do with the ICC and Israel. I also put that in another video. But here's a reason why something's happening in America. And Meghan Markle said, if you don't like something, tell someone. The first thing, I told you the facts about my government job and outrageous government conduct. 2 is the art of degrading and devaluing a woman. Look what Kanye West is doing to his wife. He's married to this woman. He's having her walk nude in a raincoat. Here, he's having her give him oral sex. And this is for all of us to see. He's degrading and devaluing this woman. What is happening in America is that they're exposing that they really hate women. So, just as they entered my property and did damage, they entered O.J. Simpson's wife's property and put drugs there and spread among the community that she's a drug user. But it doesn't matter if she's a drug user or not, she doesn't deserve to be killed. And then look at the way she was killed. You can see they defaced her face, mutilated her face. That is real hate of women. There's O.J. Simpson's wife here. So they have to ruin your background, and they have tried to ruin my background, devalue me also, take my government job, and then they are able to kill you because you're nothing. C, I'm saying A, the art of devaluing and degrading women is A, B, C, D. There is C. This is me and my child. He tested gifted when he was 6 years old at Hagan Ranch Elementary School, and he was subjugated and not allowed to go before a judge for protection. This is D. Look at Rihanna's face. Similar facial degrading, similar to the way O.J. Simpson's wife's face looks. Okay? It shows that the value system is beginning to hate women in America. I don't know if it's the homosexuals or white people giving permission for this, that the value system is like this, or is it because men hate child support? But there are 3 reasons why we must go to the International Court. The facts, the art of degrading women, and the toying with presidents and billionaires in United States courts. I know Mr. Mason also went through a United States course and went to prison. And Donald Trump is struggling in the United States court. A case that should take 6 months. They toy with and abuse this man, bring him back and forth, these little things. All these really genius attorneys who went to law school cannot pull all the documents together and get it done in 6 months. Sure, they want to toy with him. I think there are 4 errors in the paradigm. Geographical stalking in Broward and North Palm Beach County means that everywhere I go and try to work, I'm being devalued and ridiculed and demeaned. The next thing is that Hal Draper was an anthropologist. There's an anthropology department at Florida Atlantic University, and I spoke to the head of the Department of Anthropology, and he said I must go to court. I emailed many anthropology professors and said, Hal Draper and other anthropologists identify certain conduct by hunter-gatherers, and I said it's not correct. It's worse than that. The next thing is the Obama free phone paid conquest bragging, nigger gang stalking, bullying, which happened to me 4 African Americans in 4 days, all the way north in Palm Beach County, including an African American sheriff. So the last error is that they're showing hate for women. And there are Americans, white and people in power and government, who allow hate of women, devaluing and degrading of women. It took me 57 years to get over Americans coming to my parents' house in Jamaica. I told the Jehovah's Witnesses I respect them because they help me to like to read and to have discipline. But the isolation and subjugation that I experienced in the Jehovah's Witness organization, it took 57 years for me to get over it. It took me 23 years to get over my son's accident. It took 18 years to get over being bullied out of my government job. It took 10 years to get over foreclosing both properties. I told my friends and family I was checking. I tried to email Kamala Harris, but there's no email that goes through to her. And then I checked, and I see that you have the Code of Ethics for Journalists, and Washington Post was on the list, the top outlets, which sticks with ethical standards. So I'm hoping that's true, because I am going to email this to Washington Post. I've been in communication with them, but I believe as I edit myself, I become clearer and clearer. I know a solution is the robots. That's a solution for toxic work environments. And Sophie and Hans, the robots in China, had a debate. 12 minutes into the 24-minute video, they said that human conflict is one of the reasons why robots in the workplace will make it better.